great respect. Everybody respects him, and they respect your country. And it's an honor to be with you. And we just signed a deal with Iran, and this country was a very powerful ally, and good things are happening. The ships are starting to move now. We're going to have it fully open by Friday. The ships are starting to move nicely. Oil is starting to go, and the prices are coming down rapidly. Stock market is going up rapidly. A lot of good things are happening. And most importantly, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. That was how I got involved in this. We can't let that happen. So they will not have a nuclear weapon. And other than that, I'd like to ask His Highness to say a few words. And if you want, we can take a couple of questions, please.
Well, it's really my pleasure, Mr. President, to be with you here. And I want to say that we are so grateful to have you here and as a President of the United States, and thank you for your support, your commitment to your friend, to your allies, and special thank for your support during the 6-week war. Mm-hmm. It means a lot to us, and you show us who is the real ally. And without your support, your commitment, Mr. President, not my country only, but the Middle East will be in a different part of the world, a different situation today. So really my pleasure to see you today, Mr. President, and thank you for giving us the time.
Well, I tell you, if you want to increase your cognitive abilities, spend your time figuring out the Memorandum of Understanding, the version so far put out by Iran, the various versions which are not so various, I mean, pretty consistent versions that appear to be from the United States. And then the issues that have to be resolved later. And this is a mind game that will keep you young, which is why I think the president is so young. Only he can do this. I told you once before, and I will tell you again. He plays 10-card Monte. 3-card Monte is they bury either if it's big, they'll bury a card, or if it's small, they bury a little marble under 3 things. And they show you where it is at first, and then they go like this. And then they make you bet to see if you can find it. And at first, the first couple of people who are set up win big money. And then everybody comes up and they steal like hell from them. Because if you watch very carefully, which I used to do when I arrested them, they slip it out into here. So there is none. You're not going to get anything. Trump doesn't do that. Trump keeps it in one of them, but he's got 10 of them. Who knows what he's doing? On purpose for our benefit. Believe me, that's how you have to negotiate with dishonorable, disreputable. Oh, that understates it about the Iranians. So let's pick up where we were on the network where we did the Rudy Giuliani show, Mike Lindell TV. And also remind me to start getting you ready for a new timing for our show, which we think will reach more people and then allow people to watch it as a podcast in larger numbers. We hope we're right, and we're going to experiment with it during the summer, right after July 4th.
Yeah.
So the big news this morning, I mean, the big news on Sunday was an agreement was reached. And one would think the big news on Monday was like a bit of a playing out of that. But the big news today was going to be even more of a playing out of that until we found out that a group of at least 23 people were planning to attack the White House on Sunday night during the mixed martial arts 250 event. And they were going to, under the direction of this 19-year-old kid, Prosper.
Yeah.
Prosper.
We got his picture.
19-year-old kid.
Tyson Proper.
Proper?
Yep.
Okay. Well, he had gotten together a group of people. 23 is the number put out. I don't know if that's the right number exactly. 10 of them have been arrested. And they were going to create a diversion with a demonstration. And then they were going to use drones to explode over the event and try to force their way in and start to create a panic to move people out. They then had snipers organized with pictures of what they called high value targets who they were going to kill coming out. High value targets were going to be the billionaires. There were a couple. The millionaires, there were a lot, and some of the government officials. We don't know yet exactly who the government officials he was focusing on were. And this he had been planning since March. And a couple of days ago, if not a week ago, his mother became very suspicious. She called the police, thank God. And his father cooperated. And they got somebody in with him, and they were able to stop it. Remember, this is just a few weeks after a gunman was killed by the Secret Service after opening fire on a checkpoint near the White House, and in the wake of the April 27 shooting that targeted the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So, I mean, this is getting to be a problem. And I think J.D. Vance expressed it correctly. It's the volume of the political rhetoric in this country that is getting these crazy people to decide that it is justifiable to commit murder, because the people running the government are so bad. They are Nazis. They kill people for no reason. They conduct wars for no reason. He had a particular thing with Epstein. Now, I represented President Trump during that whole thing. President Trump doesn't have a damn thing to do with Epstein except turning him in. He threw him out of Mar-a-Lago when he found out that he was bothering the massage ladies, not young ladies, adult ladies. And the massage lady was afraid to come to Trump because she said he was his friend. And the person in charge took her, and Trump sat with her and said, "What?" Within minutes, he got rid of him. This is verified by the New York Times. So why they keep mixing them up with Epstein, I have no idea. But in any event, this guy thought, I don't know if he thought about Trump, but he thought a lot of the people there were mixed up with Epstein. So he wanted to kill them. Now, I'm trying to think about the people that were there. I'm not sure they were. I'm not going to go through the people that were so-called mixed up with Epstein and the ones that weren't. So there's some other maniac can go out and try to figure out who to kill. But I don't know that he had anybody there that was mixed up with Epstein. Epstein did not strike me as a fan of extreme boxing or any form of boxing for that matter. But in any event, that's why he was doing this. Tonight, we have the Georgia primaries, which has Ted extremely excited.
Right.
Because Ted loves elections. So let's go through what we got, right?
Right.
We've got what do we want? We want to start with the Senate, I guess. Okay. The U.S. Senate, we have a Republican primary between Mike Collins and Derek Dooley. Collins was 10 points ahead in the runoff, but 10 points short of the 50% that he needed to win. He has the Trump endorsement. Dooley has the endorsement of Kemp, the governor. And one of them is going to get selected tonight, correct?
That's right. You have the Senate runoff. The numbers are coming in. Mike Collins with an early lead over Derek Dooley. So we'll try to bring these numbers up here if we can. So that's the big one, of course, and then Washington D.C. is also
Now the governor's race. The governor's race is Rick Jackson and Burt Jones.
Yes.
Burt Jones is a member was a senator in Georgia when I spent a lot of time there representing President Trump, and find him to be an extraordinarily great public servant and very, very smart man. So he's on the ballot. He was the lieutenant governor for the last 4 years and did a lot to straighten out the election irregularities from his office as lieutenant governor. And he's running against Rick Jackson, who was the billionaire founder of Jackson Health and has painted himself as a Trump-like maverick outsider, stressing his humble upbringing. Now, the fact is that nobody could have helped Burt Jones more than Trump did. And nobody had more courage helping Donald Trump than Burt Jones. Right. And he better win. He also forced out Raffensperger, who was the crooked Secretary of State. We have any numbers on that one yet? Not yet.
Georgia Governor Jackson with a lead over Burt Jones with 44% of the vote-in. So
what kind of lead? I don't like that.
57 to 43%.
I don't like that at all. That doesn't give me great enthusiasm.
The Senate race, Collins up on Dooley, 53-47.
How's the Secretary of State race going?
Let's see how that's going. It's our friend Vernon. So we have the Senate race up. And here's the gubernatorial.
The Secretary of State has all to do with the voting.
Tim Fleming has been projected the winner over our friend.
Vernon.
Jones. Yep. 210,000.
Well, that's
65% to 34%.
So I'm going to throw this away.
Yeah. No. But we will be watching the.
Okay, you can watch it. I'm upset.
Governor's race and the Senate race. And we have those up on the screen right now. These are the latest numbers. So this Jackson race, 57-43% with 45% reporting. We'll see if they call that soon. And then the Senate race, Collins up on Dooley, 53 to 47% with 44% reporting. So we'll watch both of those real close.
You know, it's interesting, but Jones had Trump and Kemp's endorsement. But Jackson had billions of dollars.
Yes, a lot of money. So we'll be watching those. The numbers from Georgia are coming in at a pretty good clip. So we may.
Dooley is kind of a battle between Trump and Kemp. Right. Kemp endorsed Dooley, and Trump endorsed Collins.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. So, Ted, you watched. Okay, yeah. Anything else to say? Because I want to move on to another subject.
Let's move on. We'll keep an eye on those things.
So you watched the boxing matches at the White House, correct? With me? Yep. I think we saw all of them, or pretty much all of them.
We watched them till the very end.
And had you been a fan or a follower of what do we call this? Extreme boxing, mixed martial arts, or whatever?
Not big. My cousin's big into it. A lot of my friends are. I haven't gotten big into it. That's the most I've ever watched.
Okay, me too. And I began with a prejudice against it because I like regular boxing, which has gone, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. And I can recite a chapter and verse of the great boxing matches of the past, Rocky Marciano knocking Joe Louis out of the ring. When Joe Louis was very old, by the way, just to make clear about that. Or Ingemar Johansson knocking out Floyd Patterson in the first round, and then Ingemar Johansson coming back and do it again a couple of months later, not knowing that Ingemar Johansson went out and got drunk, got fat, and Floyd Patterson was owned by Fat Tony Salerno, who I put in jail for 100 years. Or the fix of the fight between in Lewiston, I think it was in Lewiston, Maine, between, might have not have been Muhammad Ali then, and Sonny Liston, in which Muhammad didn't want to come out again in the 5th and 6th round because he was afraid, I think he was afraid that Sonny Liston would kill him the way Sonny Liston almost killed Floyd Patterson. Sonny Liston knocked out Floyd Patterson. Neither fight went more than 2 minutes. He probably, except for Rocky Marciano, and that would have been a hell of a fight, had the best singular punch that any heavyweight ever had. And then, of course, I remember all of the Ali fights, and you can go on and on and on. So I love boxing. Now this thing comes along where they box and they jump on top of each other and they hit each other and they do all kinds of stuff. And I didn't like it. And I have to tell you, I watched intently the other night. Those men are athletes. Those are legitimate athletes. These are not like the old-fashioned, fun wrestlers. So can we look at a few of them? Because I think the president did a service here in lifting this sport a little bit above where it should be. A society without boxing, listen to me now, is a society that can't defend itself. We need boxing. Don't become a pussy and think you shouldn't have boxing. How do you think the Spartans defeated the Athenians?
Right. So here's some.
They were tougher.
Some video from the other night.
This creates tough men, brave men. Maybe a little out of control. But notice how he got.
Right from God! And now a counter left from Pineda. Gaethje looks the fresher fighter. Oh! Right hand, he hurt him! Huge right for Gaethje!
Dorsho! He hurt Taporia bad. Taporia was almost standing in front of him, just waiting.
Hard to see the extent to which Taporia has
The
recovered.
guy on the ground is the lightweight championship, the champion, and the guy on the top is the guy who won it. This was an upset. This was a definite upset.
Yeah. We watched them
Now,
all.
I wonder about this. I don't know what's going on here. It almost looks to me like the other guy's getting a rest.
Yeah.
It reminds me of clinching in regular boxing. It seems to me they don't clinch. They take each other to the ground. So now the guy on the bottom, who eventually is going to lose the fight, is literally getting a chance to get his win. Which if you're preparing to knock him out, you don't want him to do. He knocks him out anyway, but
Yeah. That was fun. Well done event.
now, present at this fight was Cash Patel, Marco Rubio, Mark Zuckerberg, see, talking about some of the richest people, David Ellison, but very interesting, Ari Emanuel, the brother of the former mayor of Chicago and advisor to Barack Obama.
Right.
Did we catch a picture of him?
We did.
Now, I think he is an agent for mixed martial arts boxers or boxers in general.
Yep, there he is.
Of course, the Wall Street Journal made fun of it or said it was very, very brutal. So was the world. But I will say that the guy who wrote the article, let me see if I can get his name here. Not even sure I know who, did make the following point, showing he has a little bit of masculine genes and stuff. And the actual fighting was ruthless. Mixed martial arts is as brutal as advertised. But the participants are genuine athletes and nothing if not committed. Winners included legendary Penn State wrestler Bo Nickel,
That's who we saw at the end there.
pink-haired charismatic Sean O'Malley, and Josh Hockett, who pummeled Trump favorite Derek Lewis. But then he's the guy who made the comment about the former first lady. And basically, the referee should have knocked him out when he said that. But we didn't need that. And then, do we have Mauricio Rufy, who, after he won, asked his girlfriend to marry him.
Yep.
It's like out of Rocky, right? Adrian, will you marry me?
Yep. So put that up now.
I wonder why he didn't invite Stallone. Stallone's a good friend of his. They play golf and they're together. And maybe Stallone doesn't like this kind of boxing. It could be.
Thank you for everything done alive. Hunter, congratulations. Spectacular event. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. And I have a message. In John chapter 3, verse 16 say, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Jesus changed my life. Jesus saved my life.
It's a good moment. This isn't the right one.
I want to save your life too. Give your life to Jesus. Thank you so much.
Well, that was a nice message. Not the
Well, that was very nice sermon.
That was nice. Not the cut we were looking for. Let's see if we can get
Mr. Rufy.
That's the same guy. Here it is. Here's him proposing. This is what we wanted.
Mr. Rufy.
Yeah, that was a nice message.
She gave the thumbs up. Congratulations, sir, and congratulations. Would you marry me since we're right here in the White House?
Yeah, he keeps throwing her kisses. Look.
She gave the thumbs up. Congratulations, sir, and congratulations on an amazing performance. Ladies and gentlemen, Mauricio Hoofy.
That was a nice moment.
But we never saw the wife. Too bad.
They don't show her.
Probably.
They never showed her.
Yeah. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back with America's Mayor Live. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month.
Wow.
Including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news, even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax, channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly, where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep green, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're gonna go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. They're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. Welcome back to America's Mayor Live. Let me catch up on a few things. As we pointed out earlier, the FBI disrupted the plot to kill people at the boxing, wrestling extravaganza at the White House. It could have been terrible. The World Cup is underway. They're playing matches all over the United States. Iran has already played one match without incident. They had several in New Jersey today where they were worried that the cars would create a chaos. Somehow it worked out. They've had at least one or two. Where did France win? In Meadowlands or in Foxborough?
That was New York.
That was in New York, and Norway won in Foxborough.
Yes.
And those are two of the favorites. The markets are rallying, of course, as you would imagine, with the war looking like, well, more importantly than the war being over, the Strait of Hormuz being open. And America is getting a lot of attention and a lot of hope after its 4-1 opening victory over Paraguay.
That's right.
And they looked very, very good. We just don't know the quality of their opponent, because that, and not that he or I are much in terms of experts. We still call it soccer. We refuse to call it football.
Still. That's right.
The B-52 bomber crash in California was horrible. 8 servicemen and civilian employees of the military died. It was a test flight. This is a very, very old aircraft that is still extraordinarily serviceable. We use it a lot. So we keep improving it, and we keep trying to make it as modern as possible. And this was some attempt to do that. And it resulted in a horrible tragedy. 8 men lost. Is that a picture of it, Ted?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. That's terrible. That's just terrible.
That's video. Yeah, they said pretty quickly, not very survivable. So
yeah, it looks like they just all. Well, the G7 started on a little bit of a strange note because when President Trump arrived by airplane, Macron did not go to greet him. Now, they are having a little bit of a battle. And here's the battle. France has imposed 100% tariff on our digital products. Now, I don't know how I don't know how broad that is. Do our digital products include our cell phones? Here. Cell phones. I'm not going to buy any French cell phones. I mean, I'm just not going to buy French digital products at 100%. I'm not going to buy them at 100% discount. But in any event, they put 100%. And it could mean some other things that we need that I'm not aware of. So Trump did what he usually does. He put 100% tariff on their wine. I have to imagine they have a much greater necessity to sell their wine in the United States than we have to buy their digital products. Got to be a lot of places in the world make better digital products than the French. I do not see them as the big digital product people. They are very big on the wine. And I got to tell you this, in Paris, they don't like Americans very much. And therefore, I give it back to them all the time. When they correct my French, I correct their English. You know, they very often, you say something in French, they say, no. You pronounce it, je suis. So they'll say something like, I'm taking you to the Paris. You're taking me to where? The Paris. You're taking me to Look, in French, it's palais. In English, it's palace. Could you get one of them right? They get very upset when you do that. So the G7 started off with this wine and digital tax thing, but the president had some kind of dinner or lunch with Macron. They made pals. I don't know how the president gets along with Macron, but he does. And then he met with all his old pals, Giorgia Meloni, who loves him, and Keir Starmer, who's afraid of him, and the guy from Germany who hates him, and who knows what they accomplish. We'll see. These people who have given up on Western civilization, and he is the only true champion of Western civilization. Georgia, to some extent, in Italy. And I don't know, he should meet with Eastern Europe. He'd feel better. You know, he'd do much better meeting with Poland, the Czech Republic, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia.
Right.
Right.
So we're just moments away from having Greg on. We're working to connect him now.
Good.
Of course, the president is in France at the G7 summit.
While Greg is on, I want you to see if you have any results yet on any of the elections, including in D.C., where a Mondani clone is running for mayor. She
running tonight.
She runs herself as a Mondani clone. So let's see if we got any information on her.
We'll work on it, and we'll come back to that, Mayor, because now we have our very special guest via video link, Greg Hack. There he is.
Hello, Greg. Tell me when the primary is, Greg.
The primary is next Tuesday. It's actually a week from today.
A week from today. Well, we're going to have you on one more time.
I look forward to it. I love being
right now. I want to urge people to vote for you.
Thank you, sir.
I think this is very, very important. And I'm going to tell you that there's something personal about this as well. First of all, I've interviewed you, and Dr. Maria have interviewed you a couple of times, and you're one of the best candidates I've seen in a very, very long time. That's just independent of everything else.
Coming from you, that's
and my son Andrew would be very angry at me for doing this, but the same people that double-crossed you double-crossed my son.
I know that.
And I'm a father.
Yeah.
So that has a little something to do with it too. It's personal. But I haven't found anybody else to do this with until you. You are a very good candidate. You're
Thank you,
what we
sir.
need in the United States Congress. So
Thank you, sir.
tell them just a little bit about why they should vote for you. We're going to put you on when we get closer with even more time for that. But tell us why they should vote for you and then how they should give you money because it's still needed.
Well, yeah, they should vote for me because I'm actually from the district. My opponent is not from the district. You know, yeah, I served in the United States Air Force. I've lived honorably my entire life. I've done the right thing by everybody around me. I put people over profits and God, country, and family above everything else. I worked for every single thing that I have. Every single thing that I have. I built 2 of the top law firms in New York, and I stepped away from all that to put $1 million of my own money up so I can look the people in the eye and say, listen, nobody's controlling me. There's no party bosses, no big PACs, no huge donors telling me what to say. I'm 55 years old. I've been on this earth for 55 years. I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly what needs to be done to get our country back on track.
Yeah, and you're a very loyal supporter of the president.
Yes, sir.
And you will be someone who will make a decision based on the way I did and the way what's best for America, what's best for my district.
Exactly.
Not what does the party boss tell me what to do, because he made sure I got the nomination and kicked everybody else out.
Yeah.
That's what Democrats do. That isn't what we should be doing if we're going to try to change America.
Exactly. When I was talking to Dr. Maria the other day, she said exactly the same thing and how that's so un-American. And I agree.
That's what we stand for.
Exactly.
It's the only way we're not going to change it by being like them.
Right.
We're going to change it like being like our founding fathers.
Yes, and being honest and actually believing in public service like you. Yeah, this is a huge honor for me because you've been an inspiration. Your leadership has been an inspiration in so many ways. As a lawyer, when you you broke up the mob, you know, your leadership after 9/11 was absolutely incredible, and that was a real inspiration for me because I saw how you can really rally the people at a time when it was really needed. You gave people hope after 9/11. And that was a beautiful thing to see. You were incredible. Incredible.
Well, Greg, you keep going. And how do we get money to you?
They can go to greghack.com. That's GREGHACH.com. And you can donate there.
Okay. Make sure you do. We'll be talking to you very soon before the primary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Don't forget, get your money into Greg. That's the way you can help if you're not in his district. Just take it from me. This is an exceptional candidate for Congress and somebody who can start making the changes in New York that are necessary. They're not all in the Democrat Party, as is true in most of these places that are dominated by Democrats. A lot of Republicans have become losers and they take the crumbs and play the games. And winning, developing a real esprit de corps by giving people a chance to run in primaries. No. The boss wants to decide who's going to run in the primary. That's the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, I don't know. Why don't they all just check into jail, Ted?
This is
so today.
Worse and worse.
Today it was revealed that this woman, Heidi. Do you have a picture of her?
Unfortunately, we do.
Oh my God. You're going to see why she had to pay money to have a lover when you see her picture. So she was paying her lover. There's Heidi. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't you love to be with Heidi? Heidi ran the intelligence service for the Southern Poverty Law Center that was supposed to protect human rights, get rid of the Ku Klux Klan. What they did was they kept the Ku Klux Klan going for 10 years. So they could have riots, so they could raise money. Oh, it helped her too. She had 2 homes. She took a number of vacations with her boyfriend, who was F2 informant, who kept two different Nazi groups going with the money she gave them, and also had to perform services for her. For that, I sympathize with the guy, but I still think he has to go to jail. I mean, that's not, I mean, I got a much worse picture of her if you want to see it. But I mean,
I'll see if we can get another one of her.
She joined the SPLC in 1999 and became director of their intelligence project in 2012. And she started splitting up money with him. So she would give some of the money to him, and she would keep some of the money for herself so she could have two beautiful homes, one in the city and one in the country. And they took numerous vacations. Sounds to me like my former prosecutor, Fanny the Hoe from Georgia, right? And her boyfriend. Except what she was doing was keeping the Ku Klux Klan going. They wanted to stop it. She wanted to keep it going so that the SPLC could raise money.
Here's a better picture.
So there she is. She's been indicted, separate indictment now from the SPLC 20 plus defended indictment. This is what your Democrat Party, this is what the left wing is all about. When they do these civil rights things, it has nothing to do with civil rights. It has to do with how they can make a fortune. So Ku Klux Klan's disappearing. They can't do much about the Ku Klux Klan. They put their own people in, give them the money to keep it going so they can have riots, so they can raise money. You think that deserves a long prison sentence? I do.
I mean, they concocted the whole Charlottesville.
Yes,
lie.
Charlottesville, which they used against President Trump forever and ever and ever, was completely orchestrated by them. And the day that you find out all the facts about January 6th is the day when I expect Nancy Pelosi to kiss my feet.
Yeah.
Nah. Just disappear. Go somewhere. You made millions inside of trading and cheating. And your father would be proud of you, sweetheart. The mayor of Baltimore. He'd be so proud of you. Putin is conducting a war against Christianity. And nobody wants to tell you that. I don't know why. It's been going on for quite some time. They started in the other way around. I don't know how Putin gets such good media, but they started this a couple of years ago, the other way around. I have no great love for Zelensky at all. And you know why, because I dug up all the information on the Ukraine, and Zelensky could blow Biden out of the water with the information that he has about Biden's hidden accounts, and he hides it. On the other hand, Zelensky is a player, right? So Zelensky, when it came time during the Trump impeachment, where I defended Trump, Zelensky made a very straight statement. He said, the conversation I had with Trump was not a bribe. He didn't extort me. He didn't put any pressure on me. He just asked me to look into it. So, yep, he helped us both, right? He kept everything about Biden hidden. So if you ever looked at all that, you'd find out that Biden took more like about 20 million than 10 million. And you'd also get the numbers of his offshore bank accounts. So he protected Biden. But he told the truth about Trump. So a very complicated, crooked guy, right? In my experience of being a prosecutor, I've found any number of people like that. So they had a thing about him about 2 years ago, the pro-Russian Tucker Carlson and all these other people he's going after Christians. He's Jewish. And theoretically, Putin is a Christian. Well, this is a little complicated. See if you can follow it. For 1,000 years, and increasingly along those 1,000 years, there's been a dispute as to where did Christianity start in Russia. It started at Kievan Rus, which is approximately where Kyiv is in Ukraine. But notice I said Rus. So the people were Kiev, but so-called Russian. So did the people of Ukraine or the people of Russia bring Christianity to Russia? Ukrainians say Kiev. Russians say, no, we immediately moved it to Moscow because we were the ones who developed it. So the seat of Russian Orthodoxy, when they broke away from Rome, the seat of Russian Orthodoxy is in Moscow, and Ukraine is a sub part of us. And over the centuries, because they were more powerful, they accomplished that. Now you're saying, well, what about Greek Orthodoxy and all the rest of they all never got along with Russia. So the Orthodox Church has a Greek patriarch. He has nothing to do with the Russian patriarch. And then in Constantinople, there's an overall patriarch. And he is supposed to be kind of the Pope, but without the extreme jurisdictional powers the Pope has for all of Orthodoxy. And the Russians really don't recognize it. When communism came along, the Russians destroyed the Russian Orthodox Church. And a group called the White Russians developed, who have come to the United States. And they practice Russian Orthodoxy here in the United States, independent of the dictates of the Soviets. Toward the end, the Soviets decided they had to create some kind of church. So they created a Russian Orthodox church. And when Putin took over, he claimed to be a Christian who was part of the Russian Orthodox Church. But no other Orthodox wanted to accept them. And then when it turned out that every time Putin went and killed lots of people, the Russian Orthodox patriarch defended him. Nobody else wanted to join him because they figured he was a murderer, just like he was a clerical murderer, and the other guy was a KGB murderer. So before the war started, and in an attempt for Putin to kind of schmooze Ukraine so he could take him over, he allowed the Ukrainian church, Ukrainian Orthodox Church, to break from Russia and have its own Orthodox patriarch called the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. After a little while, he saw that that was going to become part of their separation movement. He reversed it, or the patriarch did, and assumed control again over it and started taking the land back. So now, here's the religious war. All through this war, Putin has been bombing every Christian site he can bomb, with the exceptions of the ones that are controlled by the Russians. Sure, he's killed plenty of Orthodox Ukrainians, but he's also killed Catholic Ukrainians, Protestant Ukrainians. Anybody who doesn't subscribe to the Russian Orthodox, a guy that he has in his pocket. Well, what he did over the weekend is unthinkable. He bombed probably the most important cathedral in Ukraine, one of the most important cathedrals in Christendom. It's the Lavra Cathedral of the Assumption. It was an ancient monastery. It has a lot to do with the origination of Christianity in the Slavic countries. And even during the German bombardment of Ukraine, because this is such a holy place for all Christians, whether they're Roman Catholics or they're Greek Orthodox, Russian, Ukrainian, this is one of the places where Christianity started. And he bombed it twice, doing tremendous damage to their sanctuary and tremendous damage to the areas where their cloister is located. They were a monastery originally. Now, this is definitely part of his religious war. He has he has throughout this war used it as an excuse to persecute, to imprison, and to kill Protestants, Catholics, and Orthodox believers who won't bend their knees to Moscow. Mission Eurasia is a not-for-profit group that tries to protect religious freedom. Their estimate is that since 2022, Putin has damaged or destroyed more than 730 religious buildings in Ukraine. 730. Because he's trying to wipe out the Ukrainian Orthodox Church and the Ukrainian Catholic Church. And he wants to impose Russian Orthodoxy on them. What you should know is the Ukraine is one of the few Orthodox countries that has a very large and vibrant Catholic Church. I know it because I'm the godfather of 2 children who were baptized as Ukrainian Catholics. About 10%, if not more, of Ukraine are called Ukrainian Catholics. They're different than Ukrainian Orthodox. They accept the jurisdiction of the Pope. And they are just as Roman Catholic as I am, except they belong to the Eastern Rite of the Roman Catholic Church, and I belong to the Latin Rite. And they are being persecuted also because the Russians see no difference between them. In fact, maybe even a bigger problem. And they're being slaughtered with his very tactical strikes. And nobody brings this out. The president has promised to protect Christians. Here are Christians that are being slaughtered like the Christians in Nigeria. And they're being slaughtered because they're Christians who will not subject themselves to a church that is dominated by a homicidal maniac. And I don't know what kind of patriarch they have, but to align yourself with a murderer, you can't be much of a patriarch, nor does anybody want to follow you. So this attack on the church is quite a horrible thing. At the same time, they killed 5 people in my favorite city, Kharkiv, because I helped to build the emergency management center there. They did a tremendous amount of damage to the cathedral in Kharkiv, just to show you that, they don't just want to wipe out Kharkiv, they want to wipe out the Christians there. And when are we going to do something about this? You can see the damage done. I mean, these are places you can't replace. Ukraine was granted its independence from Orthodox Church in 2019 by Patriarch Bartholomew. Now, Patriarch Bartholomew is in Constantinople, and he is really technically the first among equals among all Orthodox communities. He's the Pope without infallible powers, without jurisdiction. But if you have a dispute, he's the one you go to if 2 patriarchs have a dispute, they would go to him to resolve it. So he said, well, the Russians and the Ukrainians, given they're at war, should split. Russia never honored that. And since then, they've been trying to accomplish it by wiping out all of the Ukrainian Christians. And they're on their way to do it. The New York Post has an editorial saying, Vlad's war on civilization. Because along with destroying a lot of churches, including the Cathedral of the Transfiguration in Odessa, he's destroyed the Kharkiv Scientific Museum, the Mariupol Drama Theater, and every cultural site that he can find. And Here's the problem. He's not making any progress in getting any more territory. Net last 2 months, he's lost territory. So he's getting to act like a terrorist. So he's bombing civilian targets over and over and over again. And the delay that we work with somehow and not really push him is resulting in the death of a lot of people. Now let's get to an American scoundrel, not at that level, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is complaining that he's under investigation and that the FBI is going around asking questions. Maybe they did a search warrant, I don't know, about his wife. What he fails to tell you is he funnels all kinds of money to his wife. And he finds a way to funnel it to her, and then she funnels it to another organization that pays her a salary. Gee, Gavin, that's not legal. I mean, you're a Democrat in California. The chances that you're a crook are pretty strong. So let the FBI take a look. They're demanding records. Ooh, they demanded records from me. They're abusing the grand jury process. They did that to me. Federal agents have knocked on the doors of family and friends. They haven't raided you yet. That should be next. I got raided. I didn't do anything. Maybe you didn't do anything, but I don't know. You look like the kind of guy that probably did. And all that money a couple of years ago, you were sending over to your wife. Nothing happened with the California Partners Project. And then it got turned over to an organization that pays your wife a salary. Mm-hmm. My old prosecutor days say to me, I smell something. But let's see. Now, the governor candidate to replace him is a real jewel, Becerra. Now, you don't remember Becerra because he was in the cabinet of the Autopan. And you don't remember what he did because he didn't do anything except one thing. He was, I bet you don't know this, he was the head of Health and Human Services. And you know he had one job. He was supposed to oversee all the children who came in, who were brought in illegally. 450,000. He was supposed to track them. Well, he didn't. And 300,000 are missing. And many of them that have been found, like now about 30,000 or so, have been used as prostitutes. They've been used for pornography. They've been used for menial labor. You're disgusting. And he's running for governor of California. He oversaw the migrant sponsor program. The sponsors were basically organized criminals sent in by Venezuela and other countries, Mexico. And when they got their hands on these kids became slaves. It's a disgraceful episode in American history. It made us the largest child theft and child abuse country in the world in a year because of Joe Biden, aided and abetted by the guy who wants to be governor of California, who did nothing but watch children get destroyed when he was at the Health and Human Services, as well as lie to you about mandates and what's going on in Washington, D.C. before we cut out, Ted. How is Janice Lewis George, member of the Democratic Socialists of America, doing against Kenyon McDuffie, who is a conventional Democrat? Are we going to have another Mondami in Washington?
Still no results in the Washington, D.C. race.
Will they stop at 9? It's 9:03 now. You get ready on Georgia.
8 p.m.
It stopped at 8?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm going to congratulate Leon King. So, Leon Rose, I'm sorry. Yeah, Leon Rose is really the general manager of the Knicks who put that team together starting in 2020. And he decided to do it a different way than the Knicks had done. The Knicks used to go get great players, and they were at the end of their rope, and they had no team around them. And so when Leon Rose, who was an agent for players, very, very luckily for Rick Brunson's dad. So he knew Rick from the time Rick was a little boy. And he knew that Rick Brunson's dad taught Jalen Brunson, Rick Brunson rather, taught Jalen Brunson how to compensate for his 6'2" height by being a incredible shot, off balance, and playing and watching very carefully the player who was going to guard him or take him in so that he could find a way to get around him using his smaller stature as an advantage, which you saw him do over and over again. You also saw him put in these completely incredible shots where he was completely off balance, where everybody else misses. His father taught him how to make those shots because he said at his size, he was going to have to do that. And when he did that, it would open up the coverage. Well, he won. So it's not as if his talents were unknown. He and two of his Knick teammates won the national championship at Villanova. But then because of his height, he got drafted kind of down the second round by the Mavericks. And when Rose came to the Knicks with the relationship with Dad, the first thing he did was trade for him, and he got him for a song. So $100 million, but the other guys were going for $300 million. And he decided to build a team around it. And the next guy that he went for was OG Anunoby, who was at that point a defensive forward that had a lot of different injuries. But he had a feeling that he could make him healthy. And he also had a feeling, watching him carefully, that he had a great three-point shot. Nobody else saw that. And you saw his three-point shot win several games. And then the piece de resistance was 2024, when he acquired Karl Anthony Towns, a center known for being a fabulous shooter, but getting in foul trouble all the time. Put those three together, a whole bunch of others. So what did Towns do? Towns held the greatest center in basketball, Wembanyama, to 3 points in the second half of the clinching game. In several games, he outscored him. He always out-rebounded him. And although he wasn't as tall as Wembanyama, and Wembanyama could kind of get around him, he's much stronger. So he could out-rebound him. Even though the guy was taller, he could box him out and out-rebound him. And he, at worst, neutralized him. At best, he outplayed him. Then we have Anunoby. Anunoby, in 3 different games, put in the key shot. He put in the final shot that won the championship. When Galen Rose shot to the basket from the three-point line, he knew it was a desperation shot. He took it 2 seconds before the clock was out because he was hoping that Towns would be able to put it in if he did. In this particular case, Anunoby had blocked Towns out. Wemby had blocked Towns out. And Anunoby came over the top and put it in. Championship for the Knicks. But who really won it? The guy who scored more points in a game as a Knick than any of their 8 Hall of Famers, 43 points. Jalen Rose, the guy who took him back in so many games it's impossible to count, and set the record for the team that won the most consecutive games in a playoff. This guy is an extraordinary player, an extraordinarily nice guy, and he deserves everything. He deserves everything that he's going to get. And New York should stop making believe that their Knick crowds are all that peaceful. They've already gotten 2 people killed, 4 people stabbed, and about 60 or 65 with various injuries. So this started during the earlier part of the playoffs. The police commissioner said she was going to crack down on them. Let's just hope when they have their parade on Thursday, they got their act together, huh? And the New York Post and the Times aren't telling you that because they want to make this nice for New York. I want to make it nice for New York also. But I don't think 2 people dead because the Knicks won is nice for New York. I don't think 6 people stabbed because the Knicks won is nice for New York. I don't think 40 or 50 people going to the hospital is nice for New York, including a bunch of cops. That isn't nice for New York. That's what they used to do in other cities. When the Rangers won in '94, after 54 years of not winning a Stanley Cup, they had a riot in Canada, not in New York, because I wouldn't let them have a riot in New York. And you think that I had this riot if I were the mayor? I never had a riot. 8 years. I took over a city that was riot prone. I said from day one, no riots. I said the first guy that throws a stone gets arrested. First couple of people who threw stones got arrested. Riots stopped. Even Sharpton took 8 years off. That's all you got to do. So let's have a wonderful parade where we can really enjoy New York, huh? Ted, what do you got before we close out?
Well, we're watching these races in Georgia, Washington, D.C., Alabama, and Oklahoma. And we have now.
What do you have?
They have not declared a winner in the governor's race.
How far apart is it?
Jackson is up on Jones 53 to 47%, so it is closing in. And that's with about
That's a surprise, don't you think?
37% reported. It is, but Jackson was always, well, he's considered a Trump candidate as well.
Is he really? But Trump endorsed the other guy.
Yes.
And so did he. Do you think Jones got hurt by getting endorsed by the governor who was anti-Trump?
Potentially, but as we talked about, Jackson just had so much money. He was able to probably flood the airwaves and paint himself as the Trump candidate, even though he didn't have the endorsement. But it's still close, and they have.
Well, we'll see. We'll let you know.
We'll definitely keep everyone.
Well,
Stay tuned.
first of all, go to stickamule.com/Rudy. This is the time to do it. You can see if you look around, we have all of our patriotic stuff. Not all of it yet. We're getting still coming in. We're going to have this whole place like it'll just be just like America First Warehouse, right? Yeah. We even took their flag. So go to stickamule.com/Rudy. You can get any of the stuff that you want, but most importantly, you can sell it. They'll set up a whole business for you. You don't have to worry about it. They'll show you how to advertise. They'll show you how to collect. They'll show you how to, and they'll run it for you. And you will be making America overtly patriotic. We can't be too patriotic, not given what they're trying to do to us and trying to take our civilization and our country away from us. You can't be patriotic enough. And stickamule.com/Rudy will actually, if you want, make you some money while you're doing that. Second, I want to again tell you that the day after July 4th, which is a Monday, which is July 5th, our schedule will change. We will be on between 4 and 6, 4 o'clock on on Lindell TV with the Rudy Giuliani Show, also on X. We're always on X. And then after that, the fastest hour on internet. He made that up. America's Mayor Live will be on X and every place else. It's on X and it's on YouTube and it's on Rumble and it's on Facebook, Instagram, Getter, Newsmax 2, but X is our primary. In fact, if you hit X at 4, you'll get us even on Lindell TV. But we'll keep reminding you because we don't want you to get messed up. And then those of you who come home late and you listen to us at 8 or 9, it's right there as a podcast. No changes. We don't edit. Well, maybe we do sometimes if I say something really bad, but I haven't been doing that lately. So now let's pray for the people of Iran that this thing works out right. We've gone through a lot. We don't want to leave them behind with these monsters governing them. We did kind of encourage them, didn't we? Just strike out, and now doesn't seem like we're following through on that. But let's see. Might change. Might still change. Let's pray for the people of Israel because they can't be left with Hezbollah still up in Lebanon. Lebanon wants to get rid of them. They got to finish the job. And let's pray for the people of Ukraine where it is starting to descend into a religious war. And if you believe that Putin is religious, please get some remedial cognitive help, okay? Also pray for the people in the United States and for our great president so that he continues to have the wisdom to guide us. So thank you very much for watching us. And you say it with me now. God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply